Data cleaning does not have to be complex because a lot of times, a lot of videos I've seen seem to overcomplicate data cleaning. And normally in real world scenarios, especially in real world organizations, it doesn't really take that long. So that's what I'm trying to replicate in this video. I want to show you the workflow for data cleaning using pandas. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So for this tutorial, I went ahead to create like a brief that you might receive in real world companies. And what this brief achieves is that it just shows you like the effects of poor data, and how we can affect analysis in real world organizations. So for this brief, they're just telling you that they received a messy sales data set that needs to be cleaned before it can be used for monthly revenue reporting, regional performance comparison, and executive decision making. So if we go ahead and perform all of this without, cleaning the data first, we run the risk of providing incorrect analysis. So here are some of the known issues that they are facing in the data set. So duplicates, inconsistent date formats, missing revenue, etc. So in this video, we're going to try to fix all of these issues, and it's not even going to take that long. So here's like the final goal. The goal is to produce a clean, analysis ready data set. So yeah, so for the first thing you're always going to want to do is to import a library. So we're going to be importing pandas numpy, and this random is just to uh import like a custom data set. So that's what this random is used for. You don't really have to worry yourself about what's going on here. What I'm just trying to do here is to like create a custom data set. So it's going to create like all these columns using all these functions, and at the end I'm just going to save it as a CSV. So if you want to get access to this data set, I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description. So once we print what the data set is all about, you can see that it contains over 4,000 rows and 5 columns. So now I'm just trying to see what's going on in the data set. We're printing the top 5 records. So as you can see here, we have 5 columns, and here's just like a snapshot of what's going on here. And based on this, we can already notice like some null value in our data sets, and I'm sure it's going to be repeating itself over and over. And here, all I'm trying to do here, I just want to know what's going on. Usually, before you clean your data set, here's what you're usually going to want to do first. You just gotta know what's going on, and that's what the info does. It just shows you like everything you need to know. It shows you like the data type, the columns. It shows you the null values, the count of null values. And here you can see that revenue has like some null values. We have over 4,000 records, and we can see that some are even missing a record. It's incomplete for some reason. And yeah, that's basically what info does. And now this second function, I'm just trying to count how many nulls that in data set. And here we can see that there are no nulls in the rest except for revenue. And I'm gonna show you the effect of this later on in this video, but for now I'm just gonna keep going on. Next, all I'm trying to see here is to just sum the revenue with the nulls. And the effect of this is that it's going to provide like incorrect information for you. And once we sum this, yeah, we're getting all this revenue, but this is incorrect. If we go ahead and present this to like the stakeholder, like you can run the risk of helping them make the wrong decision. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and repeat this after the data is cleaned and That way we can get like the right value, right? And the next thing, now, basically in summary, before in data cleaning, usually you're going to want to like start with just getting like a snapshot of what's going on. Then the next thing that you're usually going to do is to identify duplicates in the records, because that's one thing you're also going to face, nulls and duplicates most of the time. So using this function, this pandas function, here I'm just trying to see like the total number of duplicates in the records. And here we can see that we have like 200 duplicates. And that can also skew analysis and provide like incorrect results. All right, so now that we've identified the duplicates, with this function, I'm just trying to drop all the duplicates. Once I run this, I'm just going to trust that it's done. Then once I try to check the duplicates one more time, you can see that we have 0 duplicates now. So yeah, that one is done. The next thing we're trying to do, another thing you're going to come across in like real world data sets, is that most of the data just comes with like the wrong data type. Like in most cases, or in some cases, you might find that the dates can come in like a string. So with this, what I'm trying to do here is that I'm just trying to convert it to the right data type. Then after it's converted, I'm just converting this to like a date time data set. And here I'm just trying to, let me just try to run this first. All right, so now that it's converted into like a, the right data set, and one way we can confirm if it's done, let me just try to create like another cell over here. So like when I run like df.info again to check like the data type, it's like this. Let me put a bracket. All right, so once we try to check, you can see that it's converted to a date time. So I guess we're good. So and now we're trying to count all the nulls. We are getting like this total number. So I guess this is already done. The data type has been converted. And now the next thing we're going to check now is to check the missing values in revenue. I think the first thing we did is that we tried to identify duplicates and we've dropped those. So now we're trying to like drop the null value also, just to get rid of it. So now we can see that we have this number of null values, and the columns that I'm focused on is revenue, because that's the only column that has null. All these are pretty much good. And now when I guess the date also has some null values, but we don't need to bother ourselves about that. The revenue is the columns we're going to be working on the most for the analysis. I guess now that we've identified the null values, the next thing, I guess there are two things we can do. We can choose to drop columns with nulls, or we can try to like maybe fill them with 0. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Basically, with this function, I'm just trying to, replace the null value. Once I run this, and now once I try to, let me create another column under here, and I run like info to see if it has been replaced. Here you can see over here, let me just scroll down real quick. You can see that we have no null values there anymore because they have all been replaced by 0. And also, huge disclaimer, one thing that I recently learned about filling or dropping, I found that whenever you like drop certain columns, it might affect your analysis in some way. So usually I feel like it's safer to just fill it with 0. It doesn't hurt. Whenever you choose to like sum, it's not even going to count the 0 anyway. So it's just safer to fill null value 0 rather than dropping them entirely. And yeah, now that this is done, So we've done like one thing, well, a few things. First, we try to get a snapshot of what's going on. Then we try to identify the null values and duplicates. Then we change the data type. And now the next thing we're trying to do is that we're trying to get rid of inconsistency. Because you can find like in the column, things can be spelled differently, you know. For example, as you can see here, electronics can be spelled in different ways. We can find like a column where it's written as electronic, or electronics. So what I'm just trying to do here, we're just trying to standardize everything, right? So now I'm just replacing this with this, right? So that's just basically what this does. And here also another thing you might come across with is that capitalization also, it also matters. Some might be capitalized and some might not, so it's just helpful to just, you know, standardize those. So that's just what I'm trying to do here. I'm just going to run this. Oh, let me delete this real quick. And the next thing we're trying to do here is that we're also trying to standardize the regions also. So just we're making this into lowercase entirely. So, and now let me just run this also. So I guess that is done. And I guess the next thing I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to check. Let me run this first. I think it's just much easier to explain by running this. So all I'm just trying to see here is that I'm trying to see all the revenue starting from the ascending, you know, from the highest to the lowest, right? So what I'm doing here is that I'm trying to check for outliers. You know, we can find situations where the values are unrealistic, right? Or you might get like some negative values. So that's one thing you're also going to be coming across in like real world data sets. So the last thing I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to identify like values that are way too high and unrealistic. So that's what I'm trying to identify here by, you know, just sorting the values from the highest to the lowest. So after doing that, I'm just trying to standardize them with this and just keep everything balanced, you know, to just focus on revenues that are much more, you know, realistic. So when I run this and I try to run this one more time, you can see here we only have revenues that are lower than this. So, and now when we try to perform our analysis, we're not going to be getting values that are too skewed or way too unrealistic. So, and the last thing, just the final checks. That's pretty much all that's necessary. Data cleaning can get pretty intense, but in most cases, you don't have to worry yourself about everything about data cleaning. In most cases, you're mostly going to be focusing on checking for nulls, duplicates, data types, you know, checking for outliers, and just standardizing the columns to keep things consistent. And now that we've done all of that, here I'm just trying to check, just cross check if everything is all done by using the info and for checking the null count also. So here, looking at this, I want to check for various things. I want to check for the nulls, for the data types, and using this also is also checking for the nulls also. So here we can see over here that we have no nulls across all of this. And as you notice, you can see that the columns have reduced. Initially, it was around 4,000, over 4,000, and now it's way lower. And that's because we removed some outliers from values, right? So, and now we can see we also see that the data type are correct. Customer ID is integer, which is correct. The region is string. Category is also string, and revenue is float. And most importantly, the order date is in datetime, which is what I need. And here we can see that we have no nulls across all of this, except for the order date. And that is, I might remove the nulls over here, but it's not really necessary. I feel like it's just much more safer to just keep it. So what matters the most is that we have no nulls duplicate in our revenue column. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And now what I'm just trying to do with this one, I'm just trying to save the cleaned CSV. So now I'm just going to be working with this clean CSV file. If I want to like access this, I can just do df2, that will be pd dot read CSV. And now I'm just going to try paste this in. So once we run this, and I'm just going to check the head. And yeah, we can see we have a clean CSV file. So this is what I'm going to be working with from now on. So with this, I can start performing the analysis above. So yeah, that's pretty much what data cleaning is about. It's really not that complex. Mostly you're going to be focusing on just a few things. That's like 5 things. One, you have to check for the nulls and the duplicates. Two, you gotta like correct the data type. And three, that will be standardize the columns to make sure everything is consistent. And I guess lastly, what was the last thing we did? Checking for outliers, and just making sure we don't have unrealistic values. So that's just like 4 things. So that's mostly what you're going to be working on in like real world companies. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, let me know. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.